Welcome to the Chinese Mom in Business Club, the Queen Bee interview. I'm Xiaofang Sutton. I'm one of the co-founder of the club. I'm also the CEO of Allison Legal. Before we dive into introducing my wonderful co-host Sally and our today amazing guest Linda, I would like to touch a little bit on the club. The Chinese Mom in Business Club was founded in June 2018, 3 years ago, and with a single mission and purpose to inspire Chinese moms in business all over the world to reach their true potential, to find their authentic self, and to be their authentic self. With this mission in mind, we launched the Queen Bee interview back in during the lockdown time, which turned out to be a very successful interview series. And during each interview series, we invite a successful Chinese mom to share her story and journey with us, with our Chinese mom audience, and to inspire us in different ways. So without further ado, I would like to pass to Sally, my amazing co-host, and to introduce Linda.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Xiaofeng. And thank you so much, Linda, for joining us today, giving up your 30 minutes with us. So it's really a privilege to learn more from you today. So I have the honor to introduce Linda. So Linda is the managing director leading an award-winning O2 franchise business, remote managing 16 O2 retail stores, which is really amazing at this COVID time, and also 150 FTSE across Yorkshire and the Northeast. Linda has over 20-year experience in the corporate tech career, starting with the Telefonica, which is a Spanish company, and the last 10 years managing an entrepreneurial $25 million plus SMB businesses. So Linda was born in the UK, but lived in Hong Kong during her early years and speak fluent Cantonese and Mandarin and English. Linda is happily married to an Englishman and also a full-time working mom with 2 eldest daughters. So I know that Linda is truly passionate about building relationships and would love to do more with her Chinese origin. So my very first question to Linda is, as an introduction, can you please tell us a fun fact about yourself? Thank you, Linda.
Thank you both. First of all, I just want to say I feel really honoured to be asked to I guess tell my story. It's amazing what you're doing with the Queen Bee's Mum Club. For the people who knows me well, there is actually a very fun side of me. I tend to use it as my icebreaker when I have any business meeting. What is a fun fact about me? And I am not ashamed to say I'm a massive Disney fan. Been about 15 times.
Wow.
I have been to Disney in Paris, Florida, California, Shanghai. The only one I haven't done is Japan. And I was supposed to go, but COVID stopped everything. But as well as a Disney fan, which I've been about 15 times, and I take the kids as excuse that I'm actually going for me. As well as I'm a Disney fan, I'm also I take a lot of photos. So my team often laughed at me and say, Linda, you've had a 2 weeks holiday. How many photos I've taken? Regularly, I take about 10,000 photos during a 2 weeks holiday, 10,000 photos. I don't actually see most of them, and most of them are not selfie. It's not about me. But I do like taking lots and lots of photographs for me to capture the memories, for me to look through them when I come back. When I'm working really hard, those photos will just kind of like take me back to those happy times. So that's my fun fact.
Wow, it's very impressive with the Disney one. You definitely went on that side. But I have to say, I think hopefully lockdown all ease, and then we'll fulfill your dream of going to Japan. And I've been told it was one of the best Disney. So I only been to Shanghai. Was amazing. But
Yeah.
Linda, I don't know whether you know, I'm actually famous for stalking our interviewees before the interview, and so I learned obviously a bit about you on as far as to the extent the internet can give me the information. The next question is, which is I couldn't really find out because is all about you being the mom, your own version of your story about being a full-time mom.
Yeah.
So we always love to hear about your story of being a full-time mom, and tell us a bit about your family background.
Yes. So I'm a British-born Chinese. I can speak Cantonese, fluent Cantonese. 我識講廣東話. I cannot speak Mandarin. I only know like 你好嗎, and that's about it. And, I lived in Hong Kong from a very young age till about 12. I came over to this country just before my secondary school, and I found it really tough because I didn't have my English wasn't very good at the time, and I went to secondary school, and then I went to Manchester University. So I really enjoyed my student life. So I did a degree in maths and computer science, and just before my 18th birthday, I started going out with my husband now, Jonathan. And remember, I'm talking long time ago now, when we were courting in Manchester, it was it raised a lot of eyebrow because a Chinese girl and an Englishman holding hands together in Chinatown. It was, we braved through the relationship, and we're happily married. We got 2 beautiful daughters. I've got 2 girls, Megan and Ruby. Megan is 22. She just about finished a degree. She's going to find out her results. She's studying Newcastle. She's doing Spanish, Mandarin, and business studies. So what's really interesting is Megan's half Chinese, half English. When we go on holiday in China, she can speak Mandarin, but I can't understand it. So that's a side of her I'm really proud of. She's really kind of looking to her Chinese origin. Ruby, my youngest, she just turned 19. She's a creative. She's a graphic designer. So she's just done her first year Lincoln University. So we have a family of 4, and I guess a lot of the things that people don't really know is I am a working mom, and I've been working full time. I gave birth, I had a 14 weeks maternity leave for both of my daughters. But what was the sacrifice was my husband actually took a career change. He changed from a full-time job to a part-time job. So up until the daughter was a 5-year-old, he was a stay-at-home dad looking after the 2 girls. So what's really great about looking at my girls now is they're so close to the dad, and there's definitely a lot of influence from the dad side to the growing up, because I didn't drop them off a nursery. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but we just chose that for my husband to have that career break, looking after the girls while they're young. And now the 4 of, we've got 4 adults in the family. We go on holiday together. We eat out together. It's absolutely brilliant. And I kind of forgotten the hard times. It's tough, when you're talking about Chinese mom. Well, never mind Chinese mom, any mother. We're being full time, being a wife, being a chef, being a mom, being a manager, being a leader. It's tough, but somehow we just do it, don't we? We just do it. And I've got a lot of energy, and sometimes it's good actually I'm at work. Otherwise I'll be wearing them out, my family.
That's fantastic.
You don't really find that on the internet, but you'll find that if you look through my 10,000 photograph from Disney.
Fantastic. It's very, very inspiring in a way, which is, you work together with your husband as a partnership. It's really unconventional of automatically mom have to stay at home and dads go to work. I think that's really, I think that's very inspiring. Obviously, certainly is the first time, one of the first time during the interview series that Linda is the first mom actually talk about on that side. And I think it's so inspiring and so important, particularly for, I think, the Chinese origin moms, isn't it? We're often thinking we should be automatically becoming the, sacrifice our career and looking after the children. And so I thought that's really, really good.
It's But, you know, when you think about, you know, Megan's 22 now, 22 years ago, when Jonathan became like a full-time dad, when he's always at the school picking the girls up, when he's always there with the birthday party, he was the odd one out. But if you think about it now, if you fast forward 20 years now, it's quite common, you know, men and women would take an equal share of the kids' responsibility. And I think, you know, like 20 years ago, there was no such thing as paternity leave. I think Jonathan took 3 days off when I had Megan and Ruby. But now the dad has got as much right from a paternal perspective. And it's great, because it should be shared, you know, just because a woman have to carry the baby and give birth, but actually the father has as much responsibility for the kids' upbringing. And that's why I'm very proud of our girls, that there is a big influence from the dads.
Yeah. No.
Excellent. Linda, I can definitely feel your passion coming through.
All the way from
Definitely.
Yorkshire.
I love it. Yeah, so I can definitely feel, and you must be a very passionate, people-centric leader, that you are leading a successful O2 franchise business in Yorkshire and accountable for 16 O2 retail stores. So how do you actually connect with your team, and how do you motivate them to achieve the company's wider strategy and goals? Any secrets to share with us? Thank you.
Oh,
I'm all ears.
Do you know, I think it's all about leadership. It's about leadership, strategy, and communication. That's the most important thing. So we have a strategy in terms of what we're going to achieve. And then I'm very fortunate. I have a really close team, head office team, who support me. And then they deliver that message back to the shop floor staff. Bearing in mind, we are a retail business. Things are really, really tough at the moment. You know, we've had 3 lockdowns in the year. You know, this is really relevant. This is very current. Last year, most of my team, I would say 90% of my team, was on furlough for over 204 days. So I always remember when it was March 2020, when the whole COVID started coming over from China. And we never for a moment think it's going to hit us. I knew about COVID because my daughter was actually in Shanghai at the time, and we were desperately trying to get her back home. I never thought for a moment that COVID impacted us so much worse than maybe in China. So I kind of knew about COVID before it got here. And I remember very, very clearly, it was the second week of March 2020. And a lot of our staff, our parents, they're worried about, you know, if they can't go to work because they've got to do homeschooling, what happened to their pay? And because we retail, we customer facing, they could see on the shop floor, you know, we used to get like 100 customer a day. There were hardly any customer coming in. And there was no guidance from the government. They were just reading things on the internet. They was really, really worried. And I remember very clearly that my HR manager said to me at the time, Linda, what we're going to do? And I didn't know what to do because nobody knew what was going to happen. And I guess rest is history now. But I remember very clearly, I went to the owner of the business and I said, look, can I have a pot of money to look after our staff, whatever happened? And then I also remember I had a big all hands conference call with all my staff on this call. And they could actually hear from my voice that I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. But I was very clear with them. Whatever I do, there were really 3 clear principles. One of them is to keep them safe. The second one is we'll look after them financially as and where we can. And then the thirdly is I promise them whatever I know, I will communicate to them. And that actually was communicated to them before the even furlough payment was announced by the government. And even though I didn't know that much more than my staff, but I think they felt instinctively better that we're all in the same boat. And I think they felt that whatever I decide is with those 3 things in mind, I look after our people. And then obviously the week after that, we went into lockdown, and then rest is history. But even during the lockdown, there was a lot of challenges with, because we are a sales-based organization, they weren't sure about the furlough calculation. They weren't sure about if they qualify for certain criteria. And during that first lockdown, when we were closed for 12 weeks, I had 10 conference calls, and they weren't just all hands call, they were video call, they were Zoom call. And it wasn't just like me and you talking. I had the presentation. and then I send the presentation out. So hands on heart, I can say we've done everything we possibly can during the lockdown. And I think our staff felt that, because as well as the formal stuff, we also did some fun stuff. So I would task one of my direct reports and say, look, do some Zoom games, you know, do some, I don't know, spot the film or spot the, you know, just something like that, just to keep the engagement going. Because for me, what was really important is we were going through a phase where it was tough. Nobody knew what was happening. But I want to make sure that at the end of the tunnel, I've still got everybody and they're going to stay with me and we can open the shop again. And what's really interesting is we stood by our staff for the best part of the year, and it's been really tough keeping the shop so, you know, safe, socially distanced, making sure everybody's fine, making sure everybody's furlough's fine. But a lot of our staff, after the third lockdown, have had a career change, because they feel that during the lockdown, it's given them a lot of time to think about where do they want to be. And unfortunately, because the hospitality and because the retail has been hit the hardest, they've decided that retail is not for them. So they've actually, a lot of my staff kind of resigned, unfortunately, just before we open. So right now, my biggest challenge is I don't have enough. I need to get some staff. If anybody, right, know anyone who want to work on a shop floor, we are prepared to train them from fresh. And let's face it, I'm a nice employer. And we've got to, seriously, everybody need to do the bit for the retail, for the high street. We've already seen Debenham close down. We've already seen Topshop, Topman, all the shops are closed down. But we as consumer got to almost like try not to buy from online and try to support the retail, try to support the high street, because at the end of the day, that is the community. I remember after lockdown, I went out shopping for the first time. I didn't buy anything, but I was so happy because I was able to like browse. And we want to make sure we don't lose that experience for our customers, because that's what retail's about. We are there to give the experience, the customer, to make them feel happy. So yeah, support retail.
Wow. So I wanted to
long-winded answer to answer your question.
But certainly very inspiring, because right now I want to go on the high street now. I didn't think about that. I might go have a walk down the high street.
I suppose you don't think of it like that, do you? But you know, if you're buying something on the high street, you are just supporting businesses, and you are just supporting somebody's job, livelihood.
Yes.
And that's what we got to think about.
Yes. Yeah. That's definitely, I think it's mindset. But definitely, if the moms out there and then listening, and then you are by any chance actually looking for jobs, and you hear Linda, and then that's the
Yorkshire area, just let me know.
Yes, this is a late day to go. And so Linda, obviously, as you mentioned, you know, certainly I'm sure Sally feel the same. Is certainly you are a very experienced leader, and then you know you definitely are very good at communicating clearly with your team. I think that's one of the key skills. Being a great leader is actually you get yourself communicate very clearly, and then you make sure your teams actually know your expectation and everything. Obviously, apart from running the successful retailers and also helping your team during the lockdown time, and then, you know, keep them tight and then communicate it, as you also actually are very passionate during the charity work, and as part of my stalking kind of my job. And then I know you are the visually impaired technology ambassador. And so really it's about, we'd love to hear about, you know, how did you get into the charity work, particularly in this area of visually impaired technology, and why?
Okay, it all starts, this is an employee story. So about 5 or 6 years ago, there's one of our staff called Mark Skelton, and he was an assistant store leader in our Rotherham store, and he had he's a diabetic all his life, and I think it got progressively worse, because I don't know whether people hear about when you have got diabetic, you could actually lose your eyesight, and he was slowly losing his eyesight to the point of where he's completely blind in one eye, and then the other eye he only got 10% vision. However, when he was working for us, he was fully sighted. He could see everything. So he literally lost his eyesight during in his early 30s. And it got to a point where he couldn't hide his disability anymore because he couldn't serve customer. He couldn't do his paperwork, but he also didn't want to lose his job because he literally just got married, Mark, and he just got a mortgage for his house. So he thought, okay, confession time. So he came to see me and the owner of the business, and he said, Linda, first thing he said to me is, please don't sack me, but I got something to tell you. And we said, okay, go for it. So he told me, he said, I cannot do my job anymore because I can't see.
Oh, wow.
And we thought, well, first thing is, you can all relate to it, can't you? Because I think when you can see, you take everything for granted. But when you turn around and say, I can't see, I can't do my job, but I need my job. So at that time, and you've got to remember this is 6 or 7 years ago, we thought, right, okay, is there an opportunity here? Because he's very good with his technology. He knows his mobile phone. He will visually impaired, but there's a massive market for the visually impaired customers or people who may not be connecting with technology, and find out by using technology can actually help them with their everyday lives. So what we effectively done is we created a new job for him, and we called it Project Eye Care, as in caring for your eye. And basically his job was to go to the local community and to speak to people who may be needing help, who are in a similar situation with a disability, with their eyesight, but they may not realize that there are technology out there to help these people. So we literally, me and Mark, started this project from scratch, literally from nothing. I said to Mark, look through the Google, go and find all the charity. And before you know it, he found because the only person he knew who was visually impaired was himself. He didn't know anybody else. So he also felt quite isolated. So he went and looked through these charity and starting to work with lots and lots of different charity. And then I thought, great, how are we going to help this message to the people who are fully sighted? So like me and you, so how do we appreciate what it's like when you actually lose your eyesight? And we got this pack, I want to show you.
Wow.
So, have you ever seen it? So, these are the glasses that you wear, like that. And then, like this.
Oh, wow.
And it gives you an idea what it's like to be visually impaired, but different level. I know you. So if I were meeting people, I would say to them, I'll just put this one on, just explain. So this is called tunnel vision. So I can see you, but I got to see you through the tiny little hole.
Oh, wow.
So by me delivering this training to the people, they completely get it. They completely got sold the idea. And what was really good about it is we actually got people to wear these glasses and try to use the phone at the same time. And most of them can't use it. But then obviously, if you think about it now, we got Hey Siri. 6 years ago, Hey Siri wasn't very common. So it's about using voice activation on your phone. Talk to your phone. Excuse, I've just set my Hey Siri on. So it just shows how, so 5 or 6 years ago, we basically said, look, and what's really interesting is there are literally 1 in 30 people who have some form of visual impairment, and they might born with it, they might develop with it like Mark, but it's not great, but there is help out there. So by introducing these glasses, me and Mark was able to so we basically taught all of our staff how to help the customer in our community. So we become like a community-based shops. So it wasn't just about by selling mobile phone. It's about if you've got visual impairment or any disability, come to see us. Because I think a lot of people see O2 or mobile phone shop as you just want to sell the phone. But actually, we want to make it community-based. And it was so successful we actually took our training to corporate O2, and in the end, we got nominated for the British Franchise Association Award, and we won. Oh my God, I was in tears that night. And Mark actually said to me, Linda, this is the best thing happened to me being blind. And I said, how can you actually say that? He was so proud. He was so proud that actually through his disability, something good come out of it. So so that's how I got involved with the project I Care, with the disability, with the accessibility. It's something that I'm genuinely very passionate about to help people.
It's definitely, it's really touching and moving. I think it's certainly is. I really felt is you really care about your employee, isn't it? It's for you. It's part of your extended family. I think as a leader ourselves, you know, actually from my own experiences, managing people, managing team is actually one of the challenges I'm facing, but I always telling myself with the intention, as long as you have good intention about looking after your team, and then they will look after, you know, your business, the service you provide and products. And I think that this, you know, what you done with Mark is definitely is for you to basically make the extra mile to, instead of firing him, but you've been kind of, you know, with, you know, creative, but your heart is there, right? The love is there. So
looking back, the easy option would have been to make him redundant, but we didn't go down the easy option. We went to the other option because I genuinely felt connected. Mark is such a good employee. He just wants to help people, and at the end of the day, that's what for me it then become our USP. Because we weren't a mobile phone shop well known for selling mobile phone. We actually, part of our company brand is actually well known for helping the visual impairment. So we never kind of like, we never went in with the project with that in mind, but it turned out that actually is one of our USP. It's actually one of the most obvious speaking point when people come and talk to me now. So it's something I'm genuinely really, really proud of.
Thank you.
You should be. I am indeed.
Yes, I now want to work with you, Linda. Yes, such
working with each other now.
Good person and good boss and good leader. So you are doing so many things at the same time. So I wonder, how do you relax, and do you take up any new hobbies during COVID?
My head is buzzing constantly. What I started doing, and this only started during the second lockdown, because it was so tough for us last year, and a lot of my staff was on furlough. They were all right, they were being looked after, but I thought to myself, I want to do something during COVID that I'm not going to regret. So what I started doing during the second lockdown is I have a daily power walk. So I walk between 60 to 90 minutes. This morning, I've already done my 5 miles at 6 o'clock this morning.
Oh, wow.
I put my AirPod on, I put my Spotify on, and it takes me to a different world. But it's not just about the exercise, it's not just about the music. It helps me to clear my head, because most of the time when I'm going for a walk, it gives me creative idea. A couple of ideas came out. My team always laugh at me because I come back from a walk, I give them jobs. So one of the ideas I came back with during the third lockdown is, so during the third lockdown, you may or may not remember, it was a really miserable one. After Christmas, after
winter.
New Year. It was winter. What have you got to look forward to? So I came back with an idea of every Wednesday lunchtime, for the people who are working, my head office team, we would have a mental health hour on Wednesday, 12 till 1. And we don't talk about work, and we just talk about other stuff, because everybody was working from home. So we felt really connected. And what I did was, being a true leader and true delegator, I rotate the chair. So every week, a different person would do a topic. So one of them will be talking about what's the news of this week. Another one will talk about really like thought-provoking questions. And it really got us thinking, like, you know, how would you like to remember? How would you like to be remembered after you've gone? Or what is your biggest possession? Honestly, it was so powerful. But I didn't stop there. Now, ladies, you're going to be impressed with this one. So I thought, during my mental health hour, I actually the girls doing most of the talking. So I thought, right, I'm going to go one stage further. Every Friday now, 12 till 1, all the girls in my team, that's 6 of us, girls only, we have a Talk Direct Loose Women Hour. And again, we don't talk about work, but this one is girls only. And we talk about makeup, wedding, cleaning. We just talk about anything and everything. But what was really interesting was, during one of the week, it was the International Women's Week.
Yeah.
So for that week, we changed the topic. The topic we changed was, come and tell us who is your inspirational woman in your life. And my word, quite a few of the girls in my team basically said it's their mother or their grandmother. And we were all in floods of tears. So during that hour, we felt, I was not their managing director. I'm just one of the girls. And one of the girls, it's something she said to me. She said, Linda, I feel so good about this hour, because in this hour we can be ourselves. We can be ourselves. We have nothing to worry about. We can talk about whatever we want. At the end of the day, we just lack of confidence. And I think girls, we have the ability, but we lack confidence. So for me, that hour is about how can we encourage each other, help each other, understand each other better. And I know it sounds really weird. We haven't seen each other for a long, long time.
Yeah.
In some cases, over 12 months. But we feel so much more connected during lockdown than in lockdown. And I think that's just amazing. So yeah, so that's from one of my hobby stroke work that I come out with.
Well, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to steal the mental health hour into our team.
I don't mind at all. Steal it.
That's just that's amazing. And then as I think this is the first time I came across how you know, it's clearly in the mental health hour, you know, you talk about a little bit inspirational, spiritual side, because I'm always loved this kind of thing and always wanted to how to combine that. This is the whole purpose of this interview. I'm inspired. Fantastic. I love it.
Go for your walk.
I mean, certainly the power of work. I mean, Steve Jobs is a big fan of walk. You know, he's always come walk with me. So certainly running is great. So we really, you know, time flies. We really came down to the last question. And I think this is going to be a very easy one. What do you enjoy most about what you do? I mean, that must be loads. I don't know what.
You know what, if I have to bring it down to it's meeting new people and building relationship. I love, you know, for me, a lot of my time is problem solving, either with my team or with my colleague. I'm just very fortunate. I work with them. I work very closely with a lot of the franchisees. They're all entrepreneurs, they're all business people. So when I speak with them or talk with them, I learn so much from them. Same with corporate, same with business, business relationship contacts. But one thing I really enjoy the most is I enjoy giving back. So I do a lot with, you know, you've already heard about, I do a lot with the charity. I also work with university. I've helped a number of either master or degree students. Some of them are international students. I help them with the interviews. I help them with the CV. I help them with the presentation, which is another skill I'm also very passionate about, because I want to help them to give them better employability skills. It's quite scary when you kind of like just go and do your degree, you study, and then you look for your first job and you don't have any of these common sense or employability skills that maybe your school or university don't teach you. So I come across a lot of people are very, very bright, but they just cannot get what they want across. And it's not because they're not good enough, it's just they haven't presented or communicated. So one of the things I really enjoy is giving back and helping people. So I'm helping a university student right now on her final thesis. I'm helping a friend of mine. She's going for her directorship in a corporate company. And I'm also helping another friend with another business. So I am all for helping other people. You know, if you benefit from me, either having connections or knowledge or know-how, please come and connect with me. Or even if you just want to know how to get a fast pass at Disney Park, I'm also very happy to help you with that as well.
I forgot that part. I forgot that
love
part.
Disney.
definitely. That would be very useful for all the moms who are listening there. I mean, how to get past their own Disney. I mean, that's really useful.
Yes. It's a bit tricky. Yeah, but I do know. Yes. So I hope that answers your question. And yes, but and then finally, I think one thing I would love to explore more is I love to do more about my Chinese origin. You know, I can speak Cantonese fluently. I can read some Chinese, and I just can't help but feel maybe there are people that I can connect with, I can help with, or you know, vice versa. I'm very open for that.
No, thank you very much, Linda. That's really good answer. I mean, you are true inspiration, and thank you very much. Definitely very fitting to our mission of Chinese Mom in Business Club, is inspiring all the Chinese moms, which is to reach their true potential. I think certainly today I am actually deeply inspired by your story, and particularly by, I think, your heart and full of love and giving and then generosity. So certainly it's really inspiring.
Oh, thank you for having me. I hope I haven't bored you all to death, but yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So good times always fly very fast, so it comes to the end of our interview. And thanks again, Linda, for your very heartfelt stories and all your empowering stories that want us to give back more. So for people who are listening to this interview today, if you like it, please do share it with your friends and networks on LinkedIn. And we are going to interview more amazing Chinese moms in business. So do stay in touch and follow us on LinkedIn, the Chinese Moms in Business Club. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Bye.